Hey guys, today we're going to be doing a disassembly of the Desert Eagle, Rap4 Desert Eagle, Ram Desert Eagle, whichever name you have on it. So we're going to be doing a complete disassembly of the gun and reassembly in the next video, or if it will fit in this video. So, first thing I just want to state, I'm going to go ahead and take my Desert Eagle out here. And we're going to be going through the whole entire gun. Today what I'm actually going to be doing is installing the CO2 12 gram adapter to use the 12 grams instead of internal. I got the internal, but I ordered the 12 gram adapter. But we're going to have to completely disassemble it to do that. If you have the internal, if you have the external, it's however. But we're not, basically, I'll show you the reason why later, but we're going to be doing a disassembly and reassembly. So, first thing, just going to go through the list of things that I think I've got all of it that I will need. Pliers. One of the main things is if you have a small set of needle nose pliers, definitely going to need those. If not, you can use bigger ones, but smaller is better. I got an O-ring pick, a couple of O-ring picks, a couple of small screwdrivers, Allen key set. I've got two of them here. One's got longer ends than the other. I've got another screwdriver here. I've got a microfiber because this stuff will get your hands dirty. It's supposed to, just with the oil and stuff in it. So I've got my microfiber here just to clean off my hands or any part that needs to be cleaned. Okay, so what we're going to start off with is basically just go ahead and dig right into this. First thing you're going to want to do is remove the barrel, which you simply do by pressing this button right here, pushing it in, and then sliding that switch right there down. So just slide that into the down position, and you can pull your barrel off. And here's your barrel and front block assembly, I guess you could say. That's all you got to do to that part. We're going to go ahead and set that to the side for now. The next thing you're going to want to do is remove your clip, which you probably should have done to begin with. You're going to never want to do this with air in it, as many of you mostly know, but thought I'd mention it. So to remove the clip, you just simply press the clip release button and remove your clip or magazine. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to remove these springs in here. And my lighting is not the best. I'm going to try to deal with it here, but I might have to bring in a separate light, kind of like a flashlight. But as you can see, there are the springs in there. A lot of people say these are hard to deal with. However, if you know what you're doing with them, you should be able to have no problem taking those out. So first thing, taking them out and putting them in. So first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to kind of just want to grab a hold of, let's see if I can get some light in here. You're going to want to grab a hold of the spring with your pliers and just kind of pry it up and hold on to it, because it will spring forward like that. Then you can simply just pull it out. And there's a rod in here as well, so just simply kind of grab a hold of it right in here and just kind of push it up. This one's a little bit harder to do, so we're going to go ahead and go like that, and there it is. So we're going to go ahead and take those out and set those to the side. Okay, the next thing we're going to want to do is remove this front slide section, and like I said, we're just going to keep those right there. To do that, you're going to want to pull your hammer back all the way and hold it all the way back, and then simply slide your slide back, slide it back. Then once it goes as far as it'll go, lift up the front of it and pull it free. And then you can let go of your hammer and pull the trigger just to let go of that. And there is your slide assembly. Again, like I said, we're going to go ahead and set these aside here for now. Okay, that is the easy part. The next part is going to be a little bit tricky, because there are springs that will possibly pop off. When doing this, you want to be as careful as possible. Next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to remove your grips, which is with a Phillips screwdriver. Let me get mine out here. I got just a little handy little thing here. I do want to mention, I don't know if this is with all of them or not, but mine were easy to strip. You got to be careful. You got to make sure you're applying a lot of pressure when undoing the grip screws. I found that it does seem to strip out easy if you don't do so. So we're just going to go ahead and remove these as fast as I can. And again, these are just the grip screw. There's one on each side. And remove them. There we go. Okay. And then go ahead and flip it over and remove the other one. Now the magazine release clip or release button has a screw on the other side. You don't need to worry about that. You can leave that in. I'll point it out here in a second, but you don't have to worry about release unscrewing that. It would be this one right here. You don't have to worry about that one. Okay, once you got your grips undone, to take off your grips, you simply slide there in half. So you just slide it back and up. So just forward and up, like so, and set your grips to the side. And make sure you don't lose your screws. I'm gonna go ahead and flip open my case here that I bought from Rap4, and set them in here just so I don't lose them with the egg grates. So, okay. The next thing we're gonna want to do is you're going to want to remove these pins. The first thing you're gonna want to do is remove this pin here, and I'm gonna go ahead and zoom the camera in because from here on out I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to be zoomed in. Okay, first thing you want to do is remove your barrel release button. So what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to press the button in. Then you're going to want to kind of wiggle this free. You can start pulling it out, kind of, and then up. Just twist it around till you can pull that out, as you can see there, and set that to the side. And then once you release this is a pin with a spring in it, as you can see right there. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and set those to the side. So that releases that, which now allows you to get to that screw right there. You're going to want to just undo that one. And again, make sure you don't lose these screws because they're very hard to find. If you know how to measure them like the right screw, you can go to the hardware store and get them, but if you don't know how to do that, it could probably be pretty difficult. I've not had it's been pretty difficult to find out where to get the parts list and stuff for this gun. I'll be putting a link in the description probably of a manual that I found. It's not the full manual, but I'll see if I can get those out for you. Okay, the next thing you're going to want to do is there is a pin right here in the grips. This is why we took off the grips. There's a pin right there. It goes clear through to right here. You're going to want to take, I like to use an Allen key, just because they are flat on the side. I'm going to go ahead and take one out here and make sure that's not too big, because they are flat on the tip, as you can see, instead of using like a screwdriver. One thing you might want to have with you is a small hammer. I forgot mine, so I'm going to have to find one here real fast. Bear with me. What we're going to do is we're going to kind of cheat. I don't recommend doing this, but I don't have my hammer with me, so we're just going to go ahead and use the back of the clip. Just kind of knock the pin out. Go ahead and get it a little bit more there. Just simply put your Allen key to the right side there. Knock it out, and then you can set it to the thing here. Otherwise, you're just going to be driving it into your table. Just hold your thing there and drive it out, and then you can push it out the rest of the way. Okay, so as you can see, there's our pin. Just going to go ahead and remove that all the way. And if it doesn't come all the way at first, you can finish pushing it out with your Allen key. And there we go. Okay, so there's our pin, and we're going to go ahead and set that to the side as well. Okay, the next step is where it gets pretty tricky. You're going to remove all the internals, this part here and this, by simply just starting to pull it. Oh, I'm sorry. First you have to remove this pin, your slide lock. As you can see right here, you're going to want to remove the pin on the back. So again, use your Allen key or whatever you prefer. And I need my bigger one. And just simply you can pull it out. But be very careful when you do, because like I said, there will be a couple of things that pop out. First, you're going to see here is this washer. This simply goes on the back of your trigger or your slide lock. Now, once you pull the pin out, and we're going to go ahead and set that to the side as well, you're going to have to kind of whittle this around a little bit to get it and pull it back, the slide check. Let me see if I can put a little light on it here. You're going to have to pull it back and then kind of twist it around here to get the slide. Okay, here we go. So you're going to have to, like that, and there's your slide locking trigger, or your slide lock. And what this washer does is this washer actually goes right on the back of your slide lock, like so. And so it's up against in between your slide lock and your gun. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and set that to the side. And now we're going to remove the trigger and all the parts in the internals. Now, like I said, you will have springs that might pop out. Don't worry, I'll explain where those go in a second. So the first thing you're going to want to do is kind of press up on your trigger and start to kind of pry this loose. Oh, I'm so sorry. I about messed up myself. There's another pin right here you need to knock out. And just simply knock that pin out with your Allen key, or however you prefer to do it. And there's the pin. Okay, and now we can simply start to pull these out. And like I said, if you have the internal version, you're going to want to remove the little cap on the back. If you have your 12-gram version, you're going to want to unscrew your 12-gram adapter before you do this. So then what you're going to do is you're going to want to pull this up, but at the same time you're going to want to kind of push up on your trigger and this assembly right here, and just pull it up at the same time and pull it out like so. Okay, here's your internals. Let me zoom out. Here's your internals. Like I said, there's springs that will pop off. Here's one right here that popped off mine. And then from there, you have basically fully disassembled your gun. From here, you can remove your trigger assembly, the trigger spring. In here, another piece that might pop off is this piece right here. We're going to go ahead and remove it. The little piece right there. Now that might pop off. I recommend removing it so that it doesn't pop off. Other than that, everything else, like I said, this will pop off. As you can see, this was right here. This simply slides off the trigger or the hammer, and then you have your internals right here. Your bolt might slide out or like that. You can go ahead and remove that as well. And there's basically the internal of the gun where the air comes in. Like I said, I have my internal on here. If you're using a 12-gram, this won't be on here. You'll unscrew that from like you would if you're going to change it. And you would only have this top piece with the bronze here. You will not have this black tube. Like I said, I got the internal. So that's pretty much it for right here. One thing I did notice right here is there's a small O-ring for that trigger pin hole right there. If it comes out, you might want to make sure you pop it back in there, right there. So make sure you get that. And then if you have the internal version like I do, you can simply unscrew this top piece right here. As you can see, I put this on here. Let me get my tape. Or my, I got some grip stuff here. You can find this in the dollar store. It works extremely well. And kind of want to remove this. So I'm going to go ahead and do this off video because you won't have this problem, but we remove that, and then you have all the parts of your gun, and then for the rest of the gun you have just your plastic trigger frame here. you can clean that out if you got paint in there or whatever from the clip. So that's how you disassemble it. I will be putting in part 2 up or adding it to this video on how to reassemble it and go from there. So we're back. Going to be doing the reassembly of the Desert Eagle, Ram Desert Eagle from Rap4 paintball. First thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to reinstall the main components of the gun itself. First thing I wanted to mention here, we're going to go ahead and zoom in so I can show how this works. The internals here, like I said, this piece slides the hammer section, just slides over the back of the main internal piece right here. So it just slides over. And it's probably don't know the exact names for these. I did my best to find a manual, and I finally had to ask for some help from Rap4 before I could even get this back. So I don't know the specific names, but hopefully I can show. So as you can see, it just slides back together. Now one thing I wanted to note was that this piece will come off, most likely. And how this piece works is there is a little spring right here, and this piece actually fits over that spring like so. And then when you set it like that, the groove aligns. So as you can see, it just kind of sets right there. And the groove aligns how it's supposed to. Now, if you try to put it in this way, it won't work. It obviously won't work if you put it in that way. So it has to go with the spring inside, like so. So you can see there. Okay, so that's the one piece on there that'll come off. One thing I forgot to mention, and I should have mentioned it, do not pull this lever back. When you have it disassembled, do not pull this back at all, the hammer back. It could mess up one of the springs in here, and it is very hard to reset it, so just don't pull that hammer back. Okay. Now the next part that will most likely pop off, I have yet to take it apart and not pop off, is this spring right here. Now it is shaped extremely weird. See if I can show that. Like I said, it's shaped quite weird. What it does is it actually, oops, and that piece will come off. That's just as simple as putting back on the knob though. I mean, no big thing with that. What this does is this is actually your slide check, which I have right here. What this does is when this is on the gun like so, this actually catches on, oops, backwards, like this. This spring actually catches right there. I don't know if I can show that really. The long end of it catches on that little hook on the bottom of it, and causes it to be spring loaded, so it's not just sitting there wobbling. And whenever you're whenever you're out of ammo and this slide pops up, that's what is causing it, is this spring. So what you're going to want to do is with this spring on the trigger, it attaches just like this, as you can see. So show the spring again here. Just simply goes over this and over that, over the bronze piece there. Sorry, I was blocking the camera, so it just fits over the bronze piece, and the spring hook catches right there, as you can barely see right there. A little bit, there you go. Right there, and it catches right there. That's how it goes. So, but basically for now, we're just going to go ahead and leave this, and I'm actually going to take this rod off and attach it on here. Now how this rod works on here is it simply goes this small spring right here. You're simply going to push it down and over like that, and then this fits right here. So just simply flip it over like that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put that in there like that for now, and slide this back in the gun. Now I've taken and cleaned out my plastic trigger frame here. One thing I did know is that this is plastic. It's not a real big deal, but I thought it was a little bit cheap. But they tried to get it as accurate in weight as well, so fairly close. So what you're going to do is basically just take this top piece and make sure not to drop the springs or anything, and just simply start to slide it. Oops. So we're just gonna simply slide this into this. Make sure our springs and such stay. And we're not gonna push it in all the way because we've got a couple more things we need to put in. So once you've slid that in, then we're gonna take the trigger and frame section here, and what you're going to want to do is I'm going to set this down, and I lost my spring here, so we're going to go ahead and set that down for now. Take the spring that popped back off and reinstall it, and then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pull this trigger kind of like this, but you're going to have to stick it. It's kind of an interesting process. Simply stick your finger in here, and let me see if I can show this. Stick your finger in, kind of slide this back behind this top latch, and then push it forward like so here, and 1 second here, there we go, and slide it forward. And one thing I just realized, okay, the reason why it wasn't going in, and I'm doing this kind of by trial and error myself, is this has to be up. So just make sure that's sticking up. And we're going to go ahead and try this again by sticking the trigger through like so. And like I said, you got to pull the trigger back with this hand. Just pull the trigger back and slide it into place like so. Okay, and you can slide it in all the way, but what you're going to need to do is once you've got it aligned and everything, you need to slide the trigger portion back up, just a tad bit up, so that you can reattach your trigger arm. As you can see, it's not in the hole right there. You go, and then slide this in like so, and then push it back in. So now you're aligned, and then push it back in to where it's supposed to go. Then you can press everything back firmly into place. Now, next thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and put your screw back in here for the top. So go ahead and put that flathead screw back in there, and take our screwdriver, put it back. Screw it back in. Okay. Now the next thing we're going to want to do after we've screwed this back in and make sure it's all the way down is we're going to want to install your slide lock. Now the slide lock can be a little bit tricky again because you do have this little washer that goes on the back here. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that on there for now. It might fall off, I'm not sure exactly. Now, as you can see here, we have the square cut right in here. This hook on the back here is gonna you're gonna have to kind of whittle it through there, figure out how it goes, and I'm gonna go ahead and drop my washer. It slipped out of my hand there. Okay. Now, what we're gonna have to do is, now that we got this back in, there's a spring inside that little weird shaped spring. I'm gonna do the best I can to show this, but I cannot promise anything here. Inside, you'll see it. It's going to be on that side. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take an an O-ring pick. I've got my right here. It's actually a different one. Curved tip helps. And then what you're going to want to do is that spring is going to be all the way back into here on this other side, on the opposite side. Now, I don't know if you can barely see it right there. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your hook and hook that and pull it up over your the hook on the slide lock. So it's kind of difficult to show here. I'm going to get a little bit closer in there, and hopefully you can see. As you can see, your the slide lock is right there. You can see right there, and your thing is right there. So you're going to want to pull that up. I'm probably not even going to try to show it on camera because it's not going to work very well. But we're going to just go ahead and pull that up and over your thing like so. And now if you look, the spring is not there. It is now actually on the selector. As you can see right there. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead And with that back on, you're going to want to take and put your washer, so just kind of slide this back, take your washer, sorry for not showing that, so go ahead and take your washer and kind of slide it behind. That one didn't fit, so we're going to, okay, now I'm going to take and kind of just align it a little bit better. Then you're going to take your slide lock pin, stick it back through, and figure out if it's aligned or not. So, camera down here, so you can see. So just gonna kind of wiggle around here to the lines. If it doesn't want to automatically, you can take it out and see what's going on inside. Everything seems to be pretty much squared up, so I think I just gotta apply a little bit of pressure. Okay, like I said, a little pressure doesn't hurt. I'm gonna take my makeshift hammer again, drive it through, and then make sure everything's still lining up. And I'm gonna go ahead and use my screwdriver here. Okay, now I don't recommend that. You'll want to get a hammer, an actual hammer, and tap it. Don't hammer it like I did, but I don't have a hammer with me right now, so kind of have to do it. And you might mark up your gun if you do like I did. You just want to simply tap it in, and with the correct tools you can. Okay, now that's pretty much put almost all the internals back into place. Next thing you're going to want to do is reinstall your pins in your 2 pins back here, right there, and right there. Now the way to figure this out is one pin will be longer than the other one. Show this here. As you can see, one's longer than the other. The longer one goes in the raised portion right here, and the shorter one goes in the other one. It doesn't matter which end you install it in, but I'm going to go ahead and install this one here. And like I said, again, I don't have the correct tools, but you will want to hammer that in with a actual small hammer. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and install the back one as well. Okay, now that we've got that in, your internals are not going to come out. Now that's pretty much the hardest part of it. You're going to want to make sure everything seems to be working. Now you can pull back your lever. Your hammer, excuse me. See that it's shooting correctly. Okay, the next thing you're going to want to do is install your the barrel lock. To do this, you simply, again, put this in the right side. As you can see, simply stick it in there, kind of wiggle it around, and you're going to want to push that in. Then you're going to take your spring-loaded pin, stick it through the side, and I'm going to show this once I stick it through here. This actually has a groove in it. One second here. And as you can see, it has a small groove in it, if I can get it to work correctly. There you go. Not showing very well. Go ahead and just take it off here for a second and show you. When you pull the spring back, you'll see that the pin actually has a groove, as you can see right there in the one side of it. That is what's going to lock into your slide lock. So go ahead and stick this in, and this takes a couple of minutes to figure out. I'm not positive I'll get it right the first time on this one, but you're simply going to stick it through, push the button in as far as it'll go, and then you're going to want to arrange it to where it fits like so, but it needs to be on this side all the way in, like shown. It's flush with the trigger frame. Now I seem to have gotten it first try this time. It might take a minute, but then once you get that, once that's flush, then you should be able to simply press your pin in and then slide your barrel lock, and it should work perfectly. Okay, now the next thing you want to do is pretty much the simplest part. Gonna want to re-put your bolt kind of back in there, and then take and put your slide back on, or the actual slide. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom out. Again, when putting the slide on, you're gonna want to take and pull your hammer all the way back and hold it. Stick it over the gap in here, over the internals, like so. And then you're going to want to slide it back till it'll go all the way down. So if I can show this here, so push it in like this, and then make sure that it goes all the way down. Then you're going to want to push this, the slide down, and then forward, and just push it all the way till it locks like that. Then you're going to want to press your barrel switch here, push that in on the side, and flip this. And then you're going to want to install your springs. Now a lot of people, this is the hardest part. Once they take their gun apart, they can't figure out how to do it. There's a simple way. I want to thank the guys over at Rap4. John, he sent me a video showing me how to do it. What you're going to want to do is you're going to take your spring and the slide pin here. Simply slide your spring over. Then you're going to want to take and pull this back till you can see a portion of the pin. As you can see, no spring on it. Then you're going to want to take your small pliers with the spring pulled back and stick them about this far from the tip. That should do. And then you're going to want to make sure you're not clear up like that, but that right about there will work. And then hold on to them so that you don't shoot this somewhere, and then your spring will stay there. Now, to install, you're going to simply take your gun, zoom it in here a little bit. Okay, now you're going to simply take the back of it, as you can see, stick it in, then go down, and then align them to the holes in the front of your slide underneath. Then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your finger and press this down, and I'm sorry for the lighting, it's not showing up very well. You're just going to press this down to where it aligns in the groove, and then you can let go of your spring. I'm going to show this. Let me get me. I don't believe I have a flashlight right handy, but if you can kind of see in here,